Good morning, everyone. Annie Pocklington here. I work for the Washington Student Achievement Council, which oversees the Washington State Gear Up Grant at your school. I'm excited to be here with you today to host another virtual campus visit. Today we have Freddie Collins with us, who is going to talk a little bit deeper about Western Washington University. But before we dive in, a few quick housekeeping needs. So please turn off your camera if you haven't already. We also need you to change your name for attendance purposes. So you are going to use your first and last name as well as your school name. You can change your name by hovering over yourself in the participants list and clicking more, and then clicking rename. If you're unable to do this, don't spend too long stressing about it. Go ahead and just drop your name and your high school in the chat now, and I will pass that along to your Gear Up coordinator. You are muted for recording purposes, so if you have a question while we're here today, go ahead and write that in the chat. I will read those questions off to our guest at the end of the presentation. If we don't get to your question or something comes up after this presentation, please reach out to myself or our guest and we will make sure that you get the information that you need. This virtual visit series is set up for you to compare and contrast institutions based on your own personal needs. So all of our Washington institutions are of course wonderful, but they do provide different things for different students. So thinking of yourself first means thinking about what you might like to study in college, what you want your daily life to look like, what housing options are important to you, and the availability of jobs on or around campus. You'll also want to consider cost, which includes financial aid opportunities. And of course, anything else that's important to you about becoming your best self while attending college. So think about all of those things as we go through this virtual visit today. This personal reflection is of utmost importance, so make sure that you're taking notes today. You can find a guided reflection activity on our Gear Up website, along with our previous campus visit recordings and dates for our future virtual visits. We've added about 3 in the past week, so make sure that you're continue to check up on that. To explore all the institutions across Washington State, including technical schools, 2-year colleges, and 4-year colleges, check out this interactive map by WACAN. I'll drop both of these links into the chat once I pass things off to our guest today. But before I do that, I do want to give you a big picture overview of Western Washington University so you can begin situating yourself in your reflection. Western Washington University is located on the west side of the state in Bellingham, Washington, way up north. It's about an hour and a half from Seattle and a bit over 6 hours from Spokane. Western Washington University is a public 4-year university, and it's also what we consider a large institution with over 10,000 students. So now that you know the basics, I'm going to pass it off to Freddie, who can give you a bit more detailed look at Western Washington University. Welcome, Freddie.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Can you guys see me right now? Hopefully. Come say what's up to me in the chat so I at least know that everyone can hear me right now. Feel free to compliment me on my outfit or just tell me my hair looks nice today. It's all good. But most importantly, I just want to say thank y'all for letting me join you today. I'm really excited to hopefully help all of you students. I got your back, and I was letting the coordinators know before I got this assigned to me, like I really love and care about Gear Up. I know that y'all do awesome work in the community, and most importantly, you have the super real students and like the hardworking students, a lot of first-gen students, a lot of students of color, and just a lot of students on their grind, right? So I'm definitely excited to support y'all through the process. So for me, I'm definitely gonna kind of go over some general stuff about Western, and then I'll also kind of talk about the things that will be beneficial as far as applying to our school. So I'll just go ahead and kind of get started freestyle talking. And again, if y'all do have questions, I'm definitely gonna be happy to address those. But yeah, just for some context, just like they said, we are up in Bellingham. So we have about 16,000 students, which does make us kind of like a bigger school. And I kind of liked it. I actually graduated from Western. So we kind of think of it as a medium-sized school. We're not as big as, you know, a UW, but we're definitely way bigger than a lot of private schools. So we're kind of, you know, in the middle. For me personally, I love that just because originally in my mind, I was just thinking about a really big college. Like that's what I always saw on TV and going to football games and all this and that. But once I started kind of touring some of those schools, it was a little bit overwhelming, it was just like 400 people in every class. I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle that, you know what I mean, or get the help that I wanted. So Western ended up being a good balance for me just because it had the fun stuff of a big school, but kind of a chill vibe of a small school, if that makes sense. So we definitely have all the resources of a really big school and like research opportunities and internship opportunities and jobs and clubs and everything like that I was looking for. But at the same time, our average class size is about 27. So it's really nice, kind of small feeling, but like big resources, if that makes sense. And I guess just, yeah, for context for me, I was born in Atlanta, but I grew up in Bellingham. So honestly, I was thinking about leaving Bellingham because that's, again, what I kept seeing on TV and on the movies for college. But the more I kept looking around, the more Western kept going up on my list. Kind of like I said, some of the schools were a little bit too big. Some didn't have the programs I was looking for. Some had some programs I was looking for, but didn't seem like it would be fun to stay there. I wasn't trying to stay in the library all the time, So Western was definitely like a good balance of everything. So I'm definitely going to talk a bit about what we have to offer at Western, but also just for context is I'm the senior admissions counselor for Western. So I know we have a lot of high schoolers in the house. I know there's a lot of seniors in the house, and most likely I'll be one of the people reading y'all's applications once they come in. So first of all, I'm the nice one. I pretty much admit everyone if I can, but most importantly is like, I know this process is really scary, and just know that I'm going to be a resource for y'all, and I'm here to help, and I'm a real one. I definitely will be having your back as you go along, right? So pretty much they kind of talked a bit about it, but as far as academics, and I'll definitely drop these links in the chat afterwards so y'all will have access to them, but I know we have a limited amount of time today, but we have like 175 majors at Western, so pretty much anything a really, really huge school would offer, we definitely have. Hopefully the stuff that you're looking for, we have anything from English to engineering, business is very popular up here. Anything with regard to environmental sciences or hard sciences, super popular as well. So we have pretty much everything, psychology, anything you can think of, we most likely have it. And again, our school is very big on being hands-on, which I liked, because I know for me, and y'all are in high school, so you know what's up. It's like if someone's just talking at you for too long, it gets kind of boring. So especially if they're talking about something interesting, I'd rather actually get a chance to do that experiment and check it out as opposed to just talking about it, So a lot of my classes were super interactive, super hands-on. And another thing about the size of our school is that we don't have any grad students teaching courses at all. So you're definitely going to be with the professor for sure. I think like 95% of our professors have the highest degree in their field as well. So they definitely know what they're talking about. And again, the size of our school, that small class size of around 27, definitely makes them accessible, because I don't know about y'all, but y'all are in high school, you know what's up. Someone explains a whole lesson and you're like, yeah, I lost you as soon as you got to this part. So the teachers all have like office hours where if you have additional questions and whatnot, you could pop in and they'll definitely have your back. And just another thing going off of that is that they're really great resources. Just keeping it real is when I graduated from Western and I applied for my position now, it was actually one of my teachers who wrote me the letter of recommendation, who actually encouraged me to go into this type of work. And especially, I know all my high schoolers, a lot are probably like this. Maybe some of y'all know what you want to do when you grow up, but definitely out of high school, I didn't know. And then also even graduating college, I was still like, I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this, But my teacher was like, you're really passionate about helping students of color and underrepresented students and just anybody that is feeling frustrated or just nervous about the college application process. So he kind of suggested this would be a perfect job for you pretty much. And again, I applied like a month after I graduated. So I was nervous and I didn't think I was going to get it. But the experience that I had on campus through jobs and through the classroom made me a good candidate for that. And here I am now, right? So definitely it's just awesome because the teachers are actually there for you, for your major, but also may be able to point you in the right direction for a career that you maybe weren't even thinking about, like myself. So we have all those different majors, awesome programs. With regard to student life and whatnot, I would say it's one of the biggest reasons why I personally chose to go to this school, because again, a lot of people had the majors I was looking for or whatever, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I, first of all, was gonna like being in their town. Like I wasn't sure about the town, but also I wasn't sure if there's anything fun to do on campus as well. Like I know I want to go into engineering, but I don't know like what else y'all have to offer. I'm not trying to be in the library all my whole life, you know? So we have an awesome student life at Western through our associated students. We have, I think, almost 250 clubs, and we're always adding them. So students can always petition to add new clubs. So it's super, super active. And especially for a lot of y'all, maybe Western might be a little bit of a further drive for sure, but you don't have to worry about going back home every single weekend because there's definitely stuff to do on campus. So with regard to some of those clubs, they're all over the place, obviously. So we have clubs like Western Votes. So they go around and kind of get people registered to vote and understand their rights and how to go about doing so. We have different clubs for different majors, of course. So we have like a pre-med club and psychology club and this and that. So you can kind of get some experience outside of the classroom with your intended major. So we have all of those, of course, but then we also have just like fun random clubs too. So those are some of my favorites. So definitely like, I know we have a huge Harry Potter club on campus. I don't know too much about Harry Potter, but I did see them outside with the brooms, so I assume they were playing Quidditch. So that was fun. We definitely have one of the biggest clubs that just blew up this last year was just cereal eating and movie watching club. So just super chill. I know like Super Mario Kart Club, super popular, different stuff like that, Ultimate Frisbee. So things inside the classroom, obviously that'll help you with your career, but also just some fun stuff to blow some steam off as well. We have all those options. And then another big thing at our school is the Ethnic Student Center. And so that holds all of the different affinity groups that we have at Western, which is awesome. So obviously as a Black student, I got super involved with Black Student Union. But the really cool thing about our Ethnic Student Center is that the clubs are open to everyone. So as long as you come in with respect and an open mind and hoping to learn about a different culture, then you can attend any one of the different club meetings. So we have clubs for every single affinity group for the most part. And again, we can always petition to add more if we need to, but I know like Filipino American Student Association, Native Student Union, South American Student Association, MECHA, Latino Student Union. I made a ton of my friends through those different clubs. So definitely a sense of family on campus for sure, right? And I know what's up because I went through all this not that long ago. It's like, I know leaving home for high school and just trying to start your life in a whole new spot. You don't really know anyone. It's really scary, right? But being able to make those friends through clubs gives you a little family on campus, which made me feel comfortable moving forward and knowing that like I had that support, right? Also, they host like different events, like cultural dinners for the most part, and the food is super bomb. So I definitely would encourage y'all to do that if you're trying to hit up some good food for sure. So we have all of that as far as student life. And then we have a lot of campus resources as well. So of course, anyone with like maybe an IEP in high school will be able to work with our Disability Access Center and kind of get those things transferred over as well. We have a Veteran Service Center. If you have some GI Bill credits you're trying to cash out, we got your back on that. The Women's Center, Sexual Awareness Center, the Men Against Violence, like there's a lot of different affinity groups and resources on campus as well, along with those like the Scholarship Center that'll help you look for scholarships. And I used to go to the Career Center a lot too. They would, when I wasn't sure of my major, they would tell me, okay, well, people that graduated with this major, this is their average salary, and 90% of the people who graduated from Western with this major are working in their field, and here's a bunch of links about internships and this and that. So it's just nice because you're going to college, obviously you're doing your thing, but you're not going to be like set out there on your own to figure everything out afterwards. Like they still were supportive of all of that, right? So as far as campus stuff, all that, campus life, we have all of that. The majors we talked about briefly. Also, I noticed that one of y'all's questions was just with regard to dorming and housing and whatnot. So we definitely have dorms right on campus. We don't force students to live in dorms. Like if you don't want to, of course you don't have to, at least at our school. Some schools make you, but you don't have to here. But if you do want to, totally fine. I think disregarding this year because it was coronavirus, like usually 95% of first year students live on campus. So for the most part, people live on campus, get comfortable, make some friends, and then that number kind of cuts in half each year. And just for context, I'm not sure if anyone's been to Bellingham before, but it's nice. It's kind of cool. It's like a, what I always say, it's kind of like a band where, you know, about to blow up, but they haven't gone like fully mainstream yet. So we're still kind of underground, but our popularity is going up. And I'm saying that to say that rent prices haven't gone too crazy yet around here too. So you definitely, if you live in a dorm the first year and want to move off campus, you can get a super close apartment or a house to campus. You get a free bus pass with tuition, and usually it's as much or cheaper than the dorms were as well. So definitely not as expensive as living in Seattle or wherever else that rent prices are high, right? So we have on-campus housing like that. I guess I do want to kind of just focus now, because I know I have limited time, just on the process and also on scholarships as well. I know just personally for me, and again, I really love Gear Up because I can relate to a lot of y'all students. I'm in a very similar situation of like a lot of times being an underrepresented student, or maybe not having a ton of money to be able to pay for college, or just nervous about it. And so we definitely have a lot of scholarships available to students. So I definitely don't want that to get people nervous about our school. We're definitely one of the most affordable schools in Washington as far as 4 years. That's a fact. So our tuition for 1 year, tuition and fees usually is around a little bit over $8,000 for the full year. So I'm sure you've listened to a lot of these other presentations, and like maybe 1/4 might cost that amount. So we're definitely one of the lowest prices, and kind of the best bang for your bucks is what we were rated by Financial Magazine. And all that is before any scholarships or any financial aid as well. So we are public school, so we honor financial aid. So if you get any grants through the government, I know my family made a medium amount, so I ended up getting federal Pell Grant and something else as well, but basically like $4,000 of free money I didn't have to pay back. So we'll definitely honor that if you get that. And anything you put on your application to be admitted to Western, we will review for scholarships as well. So for me personally, when I applied to Western, I was nervous. First of all, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to get in. I wasn't sure if my grades were good enough. But on my application, I talked about, this is what I've been involved with at my high school, and at Bellingham High School, I'm vice president of Black Student Union, and we did this rally we organized, and we did the Martin Luther King dinner, blah, 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 just talking about my experiences and kind of what I wanted to get into once I got to college. So thank Lord, I got admitted, but maybe a week or two later, I got an email and they told me that I ended up getting the Multicultural Achievement Program scholarship just based upon the strength of my essay. So I got $3,000 every year for 4 years, just based off the strength of my essay. So definitely know that anything that y'all put into the essay on your activities list, or just on the application itself, now that I'm a counselor, if I'm able to hook you up with anything, I'm definitely going to refer you to those. And that'll be my best kind of advice to y'all, is just don't be shy about the things you've been involved with and the things you're passionate about, because of course I'm going to see your grades, and I'm going to see you got to be in AP this or that, and I'm going to see you got this much on SAT or ACT, but those extra things are things that could potentially not only help you get in, but also get you like paying for school. So definitely keep that in mind. We're a super affordable school. We honor financial aid, and we have scholarships available as well as jobs on campus. My whole time on campus, I don't think I ever had less than 2 jobs on campus. So we have jobs all over the place, the dining hall and every academic department. The rec center hires a ton of people. For me personally, I worked at the outdoor center, so I used to get paid to lead like kayaking trips and snowboarding trips was pretty dope. And I also worked as a tour guide for our admissions office as a student. So that made it an easy transition when I graduated and got this job, right? So just saying that to say a lot of free money out there. And especially just when I stress it again, I know a lot of y'all are nervous about paying for all this stuff. I'm a real one. I understand. I went through all of this before. I feel you. So just know there's a lot of resources available to you, and definitely I will be available to help you through everything as well. And then just to kind of go into the application process itself, for any of my seniors or anybody else looking forward to applying in the future. The application is pretty easy. It's pretty chill, honestly. So there's just a few required things. So I'll just tell you those, and I'll kind of tell you my tips and tricks afterwards, because I love Gear Up. So I want everyone to be admitted for sure if you want to apply. So basically you do need to turn in the application. The application's about 20 minutes. It's just general info, what's your address, what's your mom's name, blah, blah, blah. It's super easy. You'll fill out your senior year schedule, stuff like that. Super easy. The second part of that is the essay. And so I did kind of touch on that when I applied, but we have 3 different essay questions. You choose which one you want to go for. But One is the most significant event in your life or an extenuating circumstance you have overcome. One is with regard to your passion or your experience with diversity and multiculturalism. So that's the one I wrote about and I ended up getting my scholarship. And then the last one is literally write about whatever you want. So if none of those sound good to you and you want to write about something totally different, that's totally fine. I think we got around 10,000 applications last year. There's about 10 of us who read applications, myself included. So you could tell that we read every single one and we read a lot. So I'll definitely just say that to say that the essay is definitely my favorite part of the application because I get to know y'all and what you're interested in and why you think the school might be a good fit. And for some of y'all, I know maybe your grades are not the best or you just had a dip here or there, just a rough quarter. But for me, I went through the same thing. So the essay was the thing that definitely kind of pushed my application off the fence to be admitted for sure. So the application itself, the essay, you're going to turn in your grades. So we just need an unofficial transcript for the application purpose. We'll ask you for an official one eventually before you start school here, but just to make it easy on everyone, you can screenshot that and literally email it to me and I'll have it on your file before the day's over. So application, essay, test score, or grades, test scores, we are waiving this year. So I understand it's tough for some people and just uncomfortable to be sitting in a room during a pandemic to take these tests. So we're fully waiving those. So don't even worry about SAT or ACT scores. And again, with regard to scholarships, we're going to be focusing on y'all's GPA and your activities with regard to those this year. So application, essay, your grades, don't need test scores. And then there's a $60 application fee as well. And so the application fee is, you can request to have a fee waiver as well, because again, we definitely don't want finances to be holding anybody back from their like college dreams, you know? So if you can't pay for that, feel uncomfortable doing so, just don't have it. The fee waiver application's on the very, very last page of our admissions application. So as far as the stuff you have to turn in, that's it for sure. If you turn in all that stuff, you're done. As long as you turn in everything before January 31st, you're good to go to be considered for fall. If y'all do want to hear back earlier, so this is my kind of tips and tricks section. If you do want to hear back earlier and not like wait around to get a decision so long, I definitely would suggest applying for early action. And so early action basically means if you submit everything before November the 1st, then we will get back to you with an admissions decision before the end of the calendar year. So I know for me, they didn't have that back in the day, so I had to like wait around so long. I would check my mailbox every day and I was really nervous. But if you just want to be done with this and hear back, yes, you got in, or no, we need more information, I definitely would encourage y'all to apply before November the 1st. So that's my first tip. Second tip definitely would be some of the optional stuff. So we do have like letters of recommendation are optional. You definitely don't have to turn those in, but if you have a teacher that's willing to talk about why you're awesome for a full page, like please know that I will definitely read that and take it into consideration for sure. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on with regard to optional stuff, just because I know a lot of y'all are maybe in similar situations, but it's called the Tell Us More section. And so basically after the essay, there's a section called Tell Us More. And this is for if there's anything additionally that you just basically want us to know about that we would not know about just looking at your transcript and looking at your app. So for example, for me, my mom got really sick when I was in high school. So I had one quarter, I was doing like medium decent in high school, but like I had one quarter that was just a hardcore drop. And so if you just look at my transcript, it just looks like I suck at creative writing or whatever. So on my application in the Tell Us More section, I just explained exactly that, you know, mom had some health stuff going on. This is why you see a dip right here. You can see my grades bounce back afterwards when she felt better. And hopefully this isn't anything that y'all will hold against me. And yeah, I was able to get in, even though my cumulative GPA dropped quite a bit because of that, just bringing it to the admissions committee's attention definitely gave me some, they gave me some leeway with regard to that because they knew I wasn't just slacking in class. I had some real stuff going on. So, and again, as a person who reads like thousands of applications, I know y'all have a lot going on outside the classroom, and like right now you're in the middle of a pandemic, which nobody expected. So it might be affecting your grades and stuff as well. So just know that if there's anything additional that you want to convey to our committee, we're definitely happy to hear that. And we have a holistic process, meaning we take every single thing that you'll say into consideration. And I guess just the last thing I would want to say before I pass it over to questions and whatnot is just, I'm like, obviously I haven't met a lot of y'all, but like, I feel like a dad now. I'm really proud of y'all. I know everyone's working super hard, and like, I know it's been a tough year, but just keep your end goals on your mind and keep grinding towards those. Obviously we're all stuck at home, but like, try to make the most of your time at home and think outside the box, and just kind of take the time that you need to, first of all, take care of yourself, obviously, because we all need to do that, but also just think about what your next steps are, and doing this research, which is awesome, about what school might be the right fit for you. Because I know for me personally, the biggest reason why I wanted this job was just to support y'all through the process. I went through all this. I was nervous. I was scared. Now looking back, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. And I definitely want to be able to kind of help y'all through everything as you go along. So don't hesitate to ever reach out to me if y'all do need help or have any questions, okay? But with that, I'll pass it back to you, Annie.
Awesome. Thank you, Freddie. It looks like we have 2 questions that are kind of specific to the application process. So one is, when is the soonest someone would hear back if they went the early action route?
So I would say, okay, so let's put it like this. If you apply before November 1st, the very, very latest, literally the latest you would hear back is January or December 31st. But let's just say that I'm in the process of reading applications now. So realistically, I could potentially get you an admission decision within the next few weeks. But yeah, it really depends on when you turn in all your stuff and just if it's complete. So it's on a rolling basis. So for sure you'll hear back before the end of the year, but most likely you'll hear back way, way before that. My goal is just to give everyone an admissions letter so that they can go on winter break and not have their family like harassing them about college plans.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. And then where on the application can students attach those letters of recommendation that you mentioned?
Yeah, so there should be a section where you can just kind of upload different documents and whatnot. You also are able to upload your unofficial transcript that way as well. So it's usually just a kind of drop type of vibe to it. You just add it from your personal content. But just to make it easier too, if y'all ever have any issues with any of that, you can always send it directly to admissions or to myself, and I can easily just drag that from my email and drop it right into your file too. And especially for y'all, if you submit everything and then you're like, oh dang, I forgot I had this, or I forgot my activities list, like everything doesn't have to be turned in a perfect package. We can always add stuff afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you all so much for being here with us today. A special thanks to Freddie for your time and information. I will make sure that my contact info is available on our website as well as Freddie's. So please do feel free to reach out to either of us if you still have unanswered questions. Also check out that Western Washington University website where you'll be able to find specifics about tuition, programs, majors, all of that kind of stuff. So you can find this recording and our future virtual visit dates at gearup.wa.gov. That's also in the chat. So go ahead and find that link. Otherwise, you can reach out to your Gear Up coordinator for more information, and we will see you all next time.